What is up, guys, and welcome back to another video. And today we're gonna go over 10 insane Nickelodeon conspiracy theories. Before we get on the video, if you enjoyed, please leave a like and subscribe, and let's get straight on the video with number 10, Rocko's Modern Life. The cartoon show Rocko's Modern Life is certainly no stranger to some humor that is directed at far older audience members than its usual demographic, but that's something many kids shows can say. What makes the show different is that some people think the whole thing is actually rather sexually deviant. Clues of this include a cross-dressing Filbert, Rocko becoming an apparent phone sex personality as a new job, and the phrase "let's eat the beaver" being shouted out. On top of all this, the restaurant for the main show was titled Chokey's Chicken. Number 9, Hey Arnold. One underlying mystery of the oh-so-popular Hey Arnold was the story behind Arnold's parents. We see him living with his loving grandparents throughout the series, but there's a fan theory out there claiming that his grandparents are actually his parents. The reasoning for this is that they are mentally ill from their old age, and they did not want to tell Arnold that they were his actual parents because it would explain Arnold's health conditions. One is hydrocephalus, which is the condition of having a very oddly shaped head. In addition, he suffers from Arnold-Chiari syndrome, making his name an obvious reference to that. Both of these may be results from such old people having a child. This theory makes sense, but it's hard to imagine that the writers would go out of their way to make the story so dark. Number 8, Rugrats. The Rugrats is about a group of babies who go on their imaginary adventures. Angelica is a toddler that seems to be the bridge between the babies and the adults because she can talk to both. But what if I told you that all the Rugrats are just figments of Angelica's imagination? There is an explanation of all the children. Chucky and his mom died, making Chaz a nervous and jittery man. Tommy was a stillborn, making his father obsessed with building toys for his son he never had. The twins' parents had an abortion with one child, so Angelica couldn't decide if the child was a boy or girl. The conspiracy goes even further with the theory about them when they're older in the All Grown Up series. Angelica uses hardcore drugs, which is why she still sees the imaginary characters from the past. Number 7, Doug. Doug, the friendly main character of the animated series of the same name that ran through the 90s, is alleged to be a lot less wholesome than we were led to believe. There's a couple of points that some fans make to the case that Doug is actually a white supremacist, making a very different character change than how most picture the protagonist. Evidence for this includes his persistent pursuit of Patty Mayonnaise, who is not only white on a show filled with differently colored characters, but also has the last name Mayonnaise, which, come on. Another piece to this theory is that the reason so many other personalities on the show have abnormal pigmentations is because Doug sees minorities as distorted and outlandish colors because he thinks they are really strange. Whether or not you buy into this idea, it's hard to think a kids show would implement such racially motivated ideas. Number 6, Good Burger. Welcome to Good Burger, home of The Good Burger. This movie from Nickelodeon technically qualifies for this list because the property was first introduced on the sketch show All That. Everyone remembers how the appealing crew at Good Burger had to take on their sketchy rivals at the nearby Mondo Burger in an economic struggle, but this theory suggests that the enemy burger joint was sketchier than it appeared. Kurt, owner of Mondo Burger, has some questionable business ties with the likes of the Mafia. After all, there needs to be some explanation for how he's able to fund his expensive restaurant and large parties, and competing in fast food probably isn't all of it. We also know that his father was a mogul in the pharmacy industry, which would give him easy access ingredients for street drugs, another way he got his money. Number 5, Blue's Clues. Blue's Clues is definitely one of those shows that you would not expect to have a weird fan theory, but this one might be the craziest one yet. Steve is a crackhead. Yes, you heard that correctly. This conspiracy theory states that Steve is actually a severe drug addict that lives in this house where he hallucinates and imagines everything. Clearly, we know that animals, mailboxes, and furniture cannot talk, yet Steve talks to them on a daily basis. When we see him jump into the painting next to his couch, he's actually intoxicating himself while sitting on the couch and staring at the painting. The child's voice that we hear, and the one that Steve talks to, may be a neglected child he regrets. There's even an episode where a police officer knocks on Steve's house to make sure he is alright, but the episode was about safety and how to call emergency services. Number 4, Drake and Josh. We all love Drake and Josh for being a show about the relationship of two stepbrothers that builds over the years. We see all the craziness and experiences that happens in their lives, but what if everything is faked? Well, yeah, it is fake, it's a kid's show, but I mean, what the show is actually a reality show, similar to something like the Kardashians. The reasoning for this is that we see Drake and Josh talk to the camera before every episode, so they obviously know they are being filmed. On top of this, on an episode of iCarly, we actually see Carly watching an episode of Drake and Josh. And in an episode of Victorious, characters refer to Drake and Josh as a TV show. Number 3, SpongeBob. Being one of the most successful cartoon shows of all time, it's no wonder that fans have come up with a couple major theories about the show. One such alternate popular conspiracy is that the show is actually totally centered around drug use. The most popular theory, though, is the one that Bikini Bottom is actually a result of nuclear testing. Around the year 1950, the location of Bikini Atoll was used for testing of nuclear weapons, which would make sense comparing it to the town's names. This means that the radiation given off is what would have created the near-human-like sea creatures that we see on TV. Some more evidence is that the show's creator was a former marine biologist, so he probably had at least some knowledge about the site. Number 2, iCarly. When iCarly was on air, it seems like kids and young teenagers couldn't get enough of Carly and Sam's hit internet show. Miranda Cosgrove and Jeanette McCurdy had long and memorable 5 years on Nickelodeon, but fans couldn't help to notice the similarities the show had with Drake and Josh, another fan favorite. The obvious reasoning being that the creator created both of the shows and his style of storytelling resonates through the shows that he makes. Some fans went as deep to connect the two shows in a dark way. The idea is that Crazy Steve from Drake and Josh had a younger sister named Carly that unfortunately passed away. When he saw Megan Parker, her appearance reminded him of his little sister, so he killed Drake and Josh, kidnapped Megan, and moved to Seattle. After all, the actors remained the same through both series. He also changed both of their identities to hide from the authorities, and the rest is history. Number 1, The Amanda Show. Many of today's young adults finally remember The Amanda Show, primarily airing from the early to mid 2000s. What most of the same people remember about the show was its serious decline at the end of the decade. There's a very unexpected reason for this alteration of quality. Penelope, the recurring side character on the show, was actually more than just a disguised Amanda Bynes for a bit. In reality, she was a separate person with an authentic crazy obsession with Amanda in the show. The theory continues that in the year of 2010, Penelope went through with her impulses and killed Amanda in order to take over the show and her personality. Her lack of qualifications as an actor, though, are what dragged the show down and even ended the person known as Amanda's acting career. As always, thanks for watching. I hope you all enjoyed. If you did, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for more. Make sure to follow me on Twitter at Valenplana, and I'll see you all later.